everybody, it's Lou coming to you today from heaven, where they say amen a lot here. And as you recall from my time on earth, amen is an affirmation. It's a definitive statement. It goes back to ancient times. It's Hebrew in origin, and it concludes prayers, of course, but it also, when people agree, you'll hear them say amen, amen. And that's what happens when you say amen up here. Anyway, the ICF has what I like to call the amen factor. There are 4 things about ICF that make it unique, that all work together to make intelligent communities what they are. These unique entities that are constructed over time that improve people's lives, that improve the economy, and that create a certain social trust that is so desperately needed today. So let me take you through them. And if you think of the word amen, A, the awards. The awards are the sizzling factor. They're the unifying component of ICF. When we developed the awards, the whole idea was to get attention for, at that time, a very young and a very unknown ICF. So we thought that to get the data to do the kind of research and work we wanted to do, we would create these international awards program. And well beyond our imagination, the awards became sort of the thing that ICF was identified with. The publicity around them was really exceptional. We would get on national television. We would be all over the internet, and cities around the world kind of flocked to the fact that they could win this award and be named Intelligent Community of the Year, Top 7, or later on we added the Smart 21. So the awards were really an important factor of ICF. They became the tail that wagged the dog, which is okay, very okay, because again, we're known for it. Our conferences are built around the awards. You can license an ICF awards conference, and they've been very successful, as we recently found out in Limburg and other places. The awards really, though, are a primary way for us to generate data about cities, right? So by offering an award, or with the incentive of an award, communities around the world can submit data to us knowing that there's a good outcome potentially for them. Now, that data is pretty extensive. As you know, it gives us a lot of rich data on our 6 factors. And it really gets us to the heart of the ICF program, which is the accelerator program. I call it the ICF method, the M in the word amen. We learn from the method how to kind of grow together, how to build intelligent communities together, because the accelerator is based on research, case studies, and examples that get shared around the world. So the method is the key. When I think about, the method actors, Lee Strasberg's studio here in New York, where great actors like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and others studied, there was a method. There was an approach to acting, for example, that they all followed that gave us a great generation of creative output in our actors and in our films here in the United States. So the method is really the key. The method is really the heart and soul of what we try to do at ICF, because by having these awards programs and by having this method, communities can work year after year and try to achieve, of course, the award, which gets them big publicity, gets them investors, gets them the kind of businesses that locate there or start there, and makes their people proud. That is desirable. But it also is a constant improvement process, because they apply the method, they know exactly how the method works, and then they continue to build on that. So it's kind of like going into the gym and exercising. And eventually you build up the muscles to become, a very, very smart place. It also, I think, tends to bring the communities themselves together, in that they talk about, how they applied certain parts of the method. And if you look at Robert Bell's accelerator program, you can see how there are similarities within each of these communities as they apply, for example, their innovation or the way they build out their networks and that type of stuff. So it's, as I say, it's not the most exciting part. The awards is the sizzle, of course, but it's the guts. It's the heart and soul of the body of the ICF. So that's the A and that's the M. Now, where does the E come from? The E is really important, and it's something that I work a lot on, which is E for enthusiasm. ICF inspires communities. What I really like about what we do is that we'll have a conference or we'll speak to, hundreds of civil servants and people who lead communities, city councilors, businesses, people who are involved with communities, and give them a sense of hope if they're kind of down, on their luck right now and trying to use ICF to rebuild and re-energize themselves. So we really go out and try to be kind of cheerleaders or coaches and inspire people. And we really believe it because most people, like most communities, are a lot better than they think. And when you tell people that they're doing really great things in their community and you point out through metrics, through the method, for example, how well they're doing things, they're always a little surprised. At least a lot of them are, because a lot of the cities that we work with are the non-marquee cities. It's not the Singapores. It's not the places that you hear a lot about. It's the Durhams of the world. It's the Limburg provinces. Unbelievable places who don't have a lot of self-confidence. So, instead of sending them to a shrink, sending them to a therapist, we talk to them and we tell them exactly what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. But mostly when we have these civil servants and business people and people in these communities around the world, we kind of fire them up. We let them pick their heads up because a lot of the work they do in communities is listening to their citizens and responding to citizen needs, right? And a lot of it's hard work because nobody tells you that you're doing a great job. Rarely in these places will someone go up to a civil servant and say, hey, you've got the licensing process for fishing or for whatever it is down to a science. You guys do a really great job. No, they don't tell people that. They're like a Jewish or Italian mother. There's always a criticism. I have an Italian mother. I know how that worked. But we tell them how great they are. And not only that, we give them awards if they achieve at a very high level. And it inspires them. It inspires them to go back home and be the best version of themselves. It's kind of, it's kind of that relief, right? It's kind of what you get when you sort of come out of therapy, right? You have that self-confidence and you know who you are. And we help communities really define themselves, and the workers in those communities define themselves. And of course, we make them better places and more prosperous places. And we're really proud of that. So there's the enthusiasm. There's the locker room speech that we give them. I went to Notre Dame, so I'm good at locker room speeches. We kind of invented that stuff in American college football. Thank you, Ohio State, for acknowledging that. So that's the A, M, and E in the word amen. The last is the most important part as well. Well, not as well. It is as important as the others, of course, and it is the N, the network. The network. It is the place where trust gets built, where businesses or business takes place among cities. It's where the family of ICF gets together and stays together. 44% of males in Gen Z have never had a serious relationship in their teen years today. That's a study that was recently issued. So the idea that they can build social trust is really one that is at risk almost because they don't know how. Our network of communities helps reinforce ways to develop social trust in cities. and the communications programs that we share with communities sharing their communications abilities with others and teaching people how to reach out to citizens. It makes a big difference in this really, really important area, because without that social trust, you really don't have much of a community. 20 years ago, 60% of people trusted their neighbors, right? Today, that's down to 30%. And it's less than 15% among, again, Gen Z people. So there's a real gap in terms of how to build social trust and how to trust one another, even among communities that compete with each other or that are from other parts of the world. When they come together at ICF in this 220 city network, year after year, conference after conference, we tend to have the same people show up. These relationships develop. And relationships take time. You don't develop a relationship at one conference and have it last for years and years and years. You have to reinforce it. And that's just how human beings are built. We have to be around each other, near each other, to have these kinds of relationships, to build this kind of trust. So our network is really important. And we've built this very solid network that thinks of itself as a family. And they obviously do a lot of business with one another. They share a lot of information when they're making investments for their communities. They talk about certain vendors. It's all of those things that, again, are very basic. But at the level that counts, building an intelligent community, it's cement. It's vital. And it's always interesting to me how we've gotten away from all of that, how we've begun to rely almost too much on technology as the thing that sort of allows us to communicate with each other. But that's a buffer. It's useful, obviously, for many purposes, but it's really a buffer because at the end of the day, there really is no substitute for the human-to-human interaction. I think as we develop further in the world of AI and AI consciousness, we'll have to develop ways also to relate to that sort of new emergence of possibly a species and to see how that works. But I am confident that at the end of the day, what makes us unique in our cities, especially our intelligent cities, is that we identify the soul. We identify the animating factor. We identify the areas of pride. And we realize something that while locally we have all of these great unique features that are excavated for economic output and social output, when we go around the world and someone from Finland connects with someone from Brazil, connects with someone from Taiwan, they realize that we're all in this together. If you ask anybody in any audience, and I often do, what's the most important thing? What is the universal thing that you have that is most important to you? To a person, they will say that it is their home. And at ICF, when we've built this Amen program, we've been very sensitive to the fact that at the heart of everything, these people running these cities, these people investing in these cities, these people starting businesses in these cities, living in these cities, providing services to their fellow citizens in these cities, are doing it because they love the place they live and they want to make it better and better. And that's never going to change. The question is, how have we drifted so far away from it? How has the social trust, the trust in human beings, been eviscerated, right? What has happened to us psychologically as a result of social media? How are we so fragmented that we're always scrolling versus always souling with each other? These are questions that we ask. We think we have some answers to them. And at the end of the day, we all come together and we do the thing that is most important. And at the end, we all say amen because we've got better cities. So that's something to think about if you're interested in being part of our awards program. You can go online and submit a nomination. We're very happy that we've been able to build conferences, at least 3 a year right now, for each of our awards. And within those awards, obviously, we have conferences. Those awards events, we have conferences, which again can be licensed. We're successfully sold out for next year. But again, if you want to plan it for a future year, we encourage you to do that. And also take a look at our accelerator course. It's a great program that you can self-learn, or people in the city can take and self-learn from, and learn the ICF method cold. Because once you got that down, you can have the confidence and be inspired by the fact that you're on your way. You've chosen the dharma of the ICF. It is the path. And you may get knocked around. You may have problems. But at the end of the day, you've always got something to fall back on. And that's true of the network as well. The network is always there. The family of ICF is always there through good times and bad times. At the end of the day, the world may have problems. But at the local level, I'm always inspired when I go to a place and I see citizens living their everyday life despite anything you might read on social media or see on the 11 o'clock news. People are living their lives. They're living them joyfully, and they are building a better future. And it's almost assured that it's going to go that way. But the ICF helps move it along, and it gives, I think, people the thing they really want, and we're very proud of that. We always say that if mayors ruled the world, all the garbage would get picked up and the snow would get removed, and a lot of problems that exist would get solved. Mayors don't rule the world, but they certainly run cities. And for the most part, they do a fine job, especially mayors in intelligent communities. So I look forward to your comments. And in the meantime, remember, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz was really right, because she said, there's no place like home. Amen.